What's up, y'all? Will here at Schedule Fly. This episode is with a great dude named Gary Dible. Gary owns 3, soon to be 4, Biggby coffee locations in Ohio. Left corporate America about a decade ago and pushed his chips in on this incredible coffee brand. And of course, there's a lot more than coffee, and we talk about that. But Biggby is sort of in the central states, was started there, that is, Ohio and Michigan and around there. And they've grown, got a few hundred locations now, and have a very clear objective of serving great food with great hospitality and giving back to the communities that they serve. And Gary absolutely exemplifies that. This was a fun conversation, and it's neat to hear somebody who had been in corporate America and took a chance and went from being, and I thought this was really cool, went from being very introverted when he was in corporate America to finding his inner extrovert. And so it's really helped him grow as a person and grow in his personality. And he's doing a wonderful job with his business and with his team. And he's got a great story and just a good dude. Really enjoyed talking to him. So check out this episode right after we give you a word from our sponsor, Pop Menu. Pop Menu is a partner of Schedule Fly. We're very happy to be partnered with Pop Menu. It's great business. Pop Menu is all about making your day easier and your sales bigger. They will simplify your marketing operations, bring in more guests, capture customer data for personalized remarketing to keep them coming back. So with one simple-to-use platform that integrates with most POS systems like Toast and Square and quite a few others, Pop Menu starts with a beautifully designed, easy-to-update interactive menu that transforms your guest experience online. It includes a brand new website that's optimized for search engines like Google for no additional cost. Provide you great SEO, by the way. We have a lot of mutual customers, and they all say that. Automated digital marketing, online ordering and waitlisting. Never miss another call. They've got this AI answering solution that has answered now over 1 million phone calls for their customers and just a ton more. And I'll say, I can say confidently that we have a lot of mutual customers with Pop Menu. I've spoken to a lot of those customers, and they're all very happy with the product and with the service. There's a link to in the bio here for this episode to their site. Mention Schedule Fly, and you'll get a discount on your photography if you sign up for Pop Menu. I'd recommend getting a demo. It's a cool company, great people, great product, worth your time. And with that, here we go with Gary Dible, Biggby Coffee. You all enjoy. More episodes coming soon. See you. One more thing about this episode, y'all. For the first few minutes, there were some issues with Gary's audio. It was cutting out a little bit. We got it fixed, so don't give up on it. It happens for the first few minutes. We figured it out, and it was smooth sailing from then on. So I just want to pass that along so you don't bail on the episode. It does not have that issue the whole time. Okay, thanks.
How are you?
Great. How are you? How's it going? Working from home, huh?
You know, we all work out of our houses at Schedule Fly.
Oh, well, I guess that makes sense. Okay.
We have 5 of us here, and I live in a small town called Waxhaw, south of Charlotte. We're all in North Carolina. Tyler is up in Raleigh, and 3 guys are in Wilmington. And so we've actually never had an office.
Works. Yeah. I couldn't do it. I say that now. I've never done it before, but I couldn't work from home. I wouldn't be disciplined enough. But you guys started it. Obviously, it's easy to get to, but I know that some people, they couldn't go to the office when COVID first hit. With working from home, and couldn't wait to get back to the office. That would be me, but I'm an old dog. It's hard to tricks, that's for sure.
I will go sit sometimes in coffee shops or places where there's other people just to have, some activity around and things like that. But Yeah, it is a discipline for sure. But uh, but we have nobody, we're it. So whatever needs to be done at schedule fly has got to get done, whenever it needs to be done. And so it's worked well. It's been a good group, 16 years now. Started in 2007. So same 5 guys for 16 years.
You haven't brought anybody on, been able to do it good?
No, it's a weird business, man. It's a good business. It's just very unusual. No, it's same 5 of us all this time. We never needed to hire anybody, and as long as we're doing it, never will probably. But so I want to hear your story, man. You were so you're at Biggby, and how many locations of Biggby Coffee do you own now?
I have 3.
Okay.
I'm in the preliminary stages of a 4th, which, as I may have been telling you the story, I never wanted 3 stores, and was only by like the corporate world, past life, and knowing what I made in income there. I was told early on, like, listen, you're not going to salary with 1 store. You won't make it with 2, and you might not make it with 3, depending on how busy you are, and the location, of course. And so that's kind of how I set it out for a 10-year plan. Is in 10 years, I wanted to have 3 stores, which I accomplished in less than 8. But now somebody came in with an opportunity for a 4th inside a hospital, locally, in my hometown. I said no for a year. I said no. Got to the point where some things were presented, like, really, like, seems like this is too good of an offer to pass up, especially when the clientele is pretty much built in, most of it anyway. So I'm probably going to move that. Hopefully within the next 6 months, I'll have store number 4 opened.
What did you do prior to this, Gary?
I was in supply chain for a manufacturing company. They manufactured bridge components, and I just was involved with all the purchasing and contract negotiations and logistics, and it was great. I just told somebody this within the last couple of days, that had we not gone through a corporate buyout, I would still be a Biggby coffee fanatic. We'll go there all the time, but I certainly wouldn't own stores. This sounds kind of strange to say this, but I wouldn't be an extrovert that I feel like I am now, because I was a really, really bad introvert prior to this Biggby career that I took up. But they had a big corporate buyout, and some people were let go right from the top right away, and it was just kind of sent shockwaves across the company. And I just, when I started seeing that, I thought, boy, do I want to do this for another years before I can kind of officially retire, or what I do is that's own my own business. And it was natural, because I've just been maybe to my detriment. A funny story about that is I missed my youngest son's first ever 3 at halftime. My wife and I snuck down to Biggby Coffee. By the time I got back, the parents said, "Oh my gosh, you missed it. He made his first 3-point shot." I'm like, oh. But, it kind of said, like, wow, if Biggby Coffee could do that to me, who, 15 years ago, I couldn't stand coffee, what could it do to a community? And, the rest is, almost 9 years into it. It's going well.
So, so you were already a customer and a fan of the brand. How many Biggby locations are there? I went on the map there. It seems like there's a ton of locations now.
Probably, I don't know the exact number, because I found out today, every Tuesday they have grand openings. So when there's Tuesday, when I say they, not every Tuesday, but grand openings only occur on Tuesday. We got an email in that they're opening one up. So I would say that we're probably looking at 310 right now. We've got across the country, predominantly in the Michigan and Ohio. I'd say probably 65%, 70% of our stores are in Michigan, all across Michigan. Their headquarters is East Lansing. Probably another 15% in Ohio, and then it kind of branches out where I think there's 2 now in Florida. I wouldn't be surprised if 1 in North Carolina, 1 in Texas, 1 in Pennsylvania. Kind of branching, a couple in Wisconsin. So their mission is to obviously West Coast and grow. And I'm partial. I say it all the time. I just love Biggby Coffee, even after almost years, I'm still addicted to it. Like, I just don't think there's anything else out there that I've tried that is Biggby coffee. Having said that, I have to make an arrogant statement saying that we started in the 70s, and our biggest competitor, who I'm sure you know, if they started in 1995 like we did, we would be the one that would be global, and they would be a shell what we are today, just because partial to our product. I think we got a much better operation, because it's not only about the product superior, but also about the customer. Take tremendous pride in that. And, you know, I'd love to take my stores have a great customer service, but follow the plan. Biggby sets that out. Franchise owner, they gave us those instructions. And it's really, I know, remember 9 years ago, he said, let's follow the plan, you can't fail. And I feel like it was pretty easy when they got to do it.
Hey, Gary, your audio is occasionally breaking up.
Let me switch over to LTE, because maybe it's our Wi-Fi.
I think it's your Wi-Fi.
Let me try it here. See what that does. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I just want to make sure we don't miss good stuff. It may have been that maybe is it on your phone?
It is. My iPad wouldn't cooperate today.
No, that's okay. I think it's actually just putting it closer to you. I think just keep it closer to you. I think
okay.
Yeah, I think this seems to be better. So, okay. So I went on the website and I read the story about Biggby, and one of the big things was giving back to the communities. The guys who started it talked about how much help they got, you know, when they first started, and so that was always a big part of the ethos was giving back. But I don't think I saw on there what year you said, and you said it broke up. What year did Biggby start?
1995.
95. Okay.
95.
Why did they want to start a coffee place in 95? Was I'm trying to think back. Like, I know that Starbucks started in the 70s and everything, but coffee was not really a big deal until maybe, I don't know, maybe the 90s, I guess. Is that about when coffee started to, you know, other brands started popping up?
Yeah. I don't know if it was in the 90s. It might have been a little bit later than that, but this was one of those. They only had one store. They acquired that one store, and really initially didn't have any plans of franchising. It's just something that the two founders got together and said, hey, let's make a run at this. And their next stores 2 through 6, I believe, was by acquisition. They bought another coffee brand, or another coffee. It wasn't even a franchise, but there were 5 stores in the Toledo area that they purchased, and they changed them to Biggby, and then it kind of took off from there. So that wasn't their initial why it was coffee. I think one of the founders ended up, they were a barista. I mean, he went from a barista all the way to the CEO, or, you know, one of the founders.
Gotcha.
So he's got a tremendous story to tell.
Well, what is it about the coffee? Why is it, what about Biggby coffee is so good? I want to get into the product and the service aspect.
Okay. So I got to make sure I don't want to mention anybody's names, but certainly there's certain brands out that are known to be, you know, very robust or bitter or burnt. And you know what, honestly, I think that works. And if that was first on the scene, that's what people got used to. And we've sold millions of cups of coffee, and I've had one person, there's probably been more, I'm sure. I'm a big boy, I can take it. But one person in particular said, you know, I like your coffee, but I like so-and-so's better. I'm like, really? I said, you know what, I can take it. Why is that? He said, I like my coffee so strong, I can eat it with a fork.
Yeah.
And not Biggby coffee. We do not have anything that's that dark and a burnt flavor. Our espresso beans are medium roast. Most espresso beans, especially in a premium coffee shop, especially coffee shops, they're a dark roast espresso bean. Ours is medium, and it just tells. It's not something that when you drink it, it's not overpowering. It's not bitter. It's not, like I said, it doesn't have that burnt flavor. So first and foremost, the quality, I think, is unmatched. I've had, you know, close traveling,
maybe in an airport, grabbing some airport coffee that is specially shopped. It's in, I'm like, wow, this is pretty good. But nothing is ever compared. I end up going right back to Biggby, and now, like I said, I'm addicted to it. The same thing, their product. We have, when I hear people say, I'd stop into your coffee shop, but I just don't drink coffee. I feel like I'm a failure because, like Dunkin' Donuts, they changed their name from Dunkin' Donuts to Dunkin'. I think it's because, they're maybe pigeonholed into thinking, I don't feel like donuts today. They're more than just donuts. And I think that's something of Biggby Coffee maybe eventually will drop the coffee to the end of it. And it's just known as Biggby because we do offer more. We have the hot chocolates, we have teas, we have cream freezes, we have sandwiches, we have bagels, muffins, different varieties. So when somebody tells me, hey, listen, I'm not going to stop in because I don't drink coffee, I'm like, okay, I'm not doing a good enough job marketing my stores or marketing our brand, which, what drives me when I hear things like that.
What is it about
that's quality?
What about, okay, so why like places that do the really dark roast, what is the point for that? If it's better tasting when it's medium roast, why do people do that?
Maybe really get the true coffee flavor. Maybe, I think it's, from what I heard, again, this is just our biggest competitor. They purposely burn their beans so people will get acquired to that taste. And they were on the scene first. So when they do have one of our products that are a medium roast, or even our dark roast is still nothing like our biggest competitor's dark roast. They drink it like, this isn't strong enough. And what, to each his own. That's not me. Again, I didn't drink coffee 15 years ago. I started out, even when I did drink it, it was, give me that, what they call foo-foo drinks with the whipped cream and the thick syrups. That's kind of how I started. And then I started putting on the weight. And I realized, okay, being in a shop every day, drinking these caramel marvels or butter bears, this is our kind of name of our drinks. We have funky little quirky names, but it works. But that I started putting on the weight, and I'm like, listen, I got to back off. So I kind of transitioned over to coffee, and I'm not quite there yet. After almost 9 years, I still can't drink just black coffee yet. I'll put a little bit of vanilla syrup and a little bit of creamer, but I'm weaning myself off. But, I love going back, and especially with us, something else that we have that a lot of competitors, not the biggest of all, but a lot of our competitors, they have hot or iced drink options. We have hot, iced, and frozen. And a lot of people, even if it's 10 below zero, I still want my baristas to ask the customer, would you like that hot, iced, or frozen? Because some of them drink frozen all year round. It can be 90 degrees out, and we can ask hot, iced, or frozen, and we insult them if we suggest an iced or a frozen, because they drink black all year round. But we have that option, and that a frozen butter bear, it's the best, no matter what time of year it is. That's butter bear is my favorite. It's caramel and butterscotch syrup. So you said there's one close to you, so I'm gonna be very curious to know what you think. And I see you're drinking something there. Do you drink just black coffee? Is that your go-to?
This is in honor of this episode because it's 1:45 in the afternoon. I don't normally have it this late, but I am drinking some coffee now. I drink black coffee.
Okay.
Occasionally I will put some whole milk and some local honey in there and make just a really nice concoction. But this is black coffee. Now, I'm one of these weirdos who, when I'm at my house and I'm drinking coffee, and you're probably just this is gonna hurt to hear this, but I actually drink instant coffee. I heat up water and I pour a teaspoon in there and I drink it black. Now, what happens is that's my baseline. So when Biggby Coffee is opening in Pineville, which is like 15 minutes from my house. So I'll go, whenever they open, I'll go over there, and it'll taste so ridiculously good. Because when your baseline is this, you're like, you go somewhere to a coffee shop and you're like, holy cow, this coffee is great. Now I don't go to the, you won't say their name, so then I won't either, but the largest I don't go there. But I like we've got some local coffee shops here and stuff like that. So when I do go and I sit and I work, like, the coffee tastes great. But when I'm at home, I drink this. And I do primarily drink it black. But
Well, our house blend is called Biggby Best. Every
Yeah.
store, every store will always have it. That's the one you've got to try. It's a medium roast. So, you may think, oh boy, this isn't quite strong enough for you. But just so you know, medium roast have higher caffeine content than dark roast, because dark roast, they got to actually roast it longer, which burns off the caffeine. So
I do know that. I do. In fact, that's typically I get medium roast typically when I go somewhere, or dark. I don't get the light, because even though I drink several cups of coffee a day, I don't like, I don't like a ton of like when you go get light roast somewhere, some places in particular, you get light roast. And I mean, I could have 1 cup and I'm really feeling it. And I don't like the jittery feeling. Coffee typically just kind of keeps me just level. But when you get the light roast, sometimes well, let me ask you this, man. So you were in a completely different world in corporate America, in a completely different field. You were introverted. So here you are, around a decade into this. It's brought out aspects of your personality that you had not really fostered before. You're responsible for a team of a lot of people now. What have you, other than pulling out the inner extrovert, what else have you learned about yourself through coming from working for somebody to having your own business?
well, I know I couldn't go back. There's just no, it's not because I don't think I could work for anybody else. I mean, I could. Clearly, I was raised that, I'm always going to have a job regardless. Nobody knows. I mean, there could be a fungus that wipes out every coffee bean on this planet, and I'm out of job. I'll figure something out. But what I think what's been most rewarding to me about this, first of all, just my transformation. And I can't emphasize enough how I was an introvert. I came from a family who we just, I had 4 sisters out in the country. I hunted beer cans. I hunted for arrowheads in the field, and I fished at the river all by myself. So I didn't have anybody talk to. My parents were like that too. So I didn't know any different until I met my, girlfriend in high school. She's now my wife. She came from a huge family. So I was always uncomfortable in those big get-togethers. I'd sit in the corner, and she always, sometimes would accuse me of, like, well, you think you're better than us? You don't say anything. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I'm out of my comfort zone big time. But I knew that when I did this, I had to come out of my shell. And, I came out with a vengeance, because, it's funny, not too long ago, my wife and I were, Friday night, hey, what do you want to do for dinner? Let's go out. Okay, where do you want to go? And local, Bob Evans, it's on the other side of town. And I said, let's just go there. We haven't been there for a while. And I know that they're struggling with employees, so it'd be good to give them the business. And she says, okay, I'll go. But listen, you can't talk to anybody. I just want to go out there and have dinner and come back home. And I just started laughing, and she started laughing. We realized how we both switched roles, because she's been a teacher for almost 35 years. She was the outgoing person. Now she kind of wants that quiet, like, I just want to eat my dinner and go home. And I'm just like shaking hands, kissing babies. You got to do that. So I've met so many people in that fashion, and this new career of mine. But I think what's most rewarding to me, which I never saw this coming, is the influence that I can have on this younger generation, which is high school to college mainly. I mean, most of my workers are, they're either, junior in high school all the way up to maybe their 4th or 5th year of college. So, 5-6 year range that, I can teach them life skills. And that's what we do here. Getting back to your initial comment about finding out more about our product and our customer service, I'm really on that. I mean, I listen to my employees. I go to my stores every single day, unless I'm unavailable. If I'm, on a little jaunt to Chicago, I went to Chicago between Christmas and New Year's for, 4 days, but I'm always in the stores. And people say, like, why every day you go to those stores? I'm like, yeah, I want to have a pulse. I don't micromanage. I've learned that doesn't work. But I want to know, like, how's everybody doing? So if I walk in and I'll say, hey, Lauren, how you doing? And she's like, great, boss. How are you? I know that things are going well. But if she says, I'm okay, then I may pull her aside and say, what's up? And I, because I would genuinely care. I want them to, it's tough for them to shut that switch off. If something's going on in their world outside of my stores, they come in, it's very difficult to shut it off. So I try to talk them through it. I help them, let them know that, listen, I'm always there for them. And that means that, ultimately, I don't have a high turnover help. I need to knock on wood here somewhere, but I don't have a high turnover help because I treat my baristas the best that I can. Is it perfect? No. It's too bad that they can't graduate with degrees, being like a bachelor's in barista world, or whatever you want to call that degree. They always, most often, they move on, so it's very difficult to say goodbye to them. But I know that when they leave, they've kind of left the nest, grown up. They learned quite a bit. It's kind of my philosophy, but also Biggby's. We have this saying that we want every customer to leave the store in a better mood than when a customer arrived. And I know that if I went into the other room here where my barista's working and I pulled on the side, I would say, hey, listen, Lauren, I'll pick on Lauren again because I know she's working right now, but I'll say, Lauren, what do I want you to think about every moment you're here? She may roll her eyes a little bit, but she'll say, may not word for word, but she'll say the customer leaves happier than when they got here. They get it. They know it. And it doesn't take much. There's a lot going on in this world, as you know, and they show up in through a drive-through window or inside the inside counter, and they got baggage, they got troubles, they got stress, and all it takes is a simple, like, how you doing today? I shared the story with a lot of my newer baristas that, you never know what you get. It's a barista, but we also sort of like a bartender, so to speak, because, sometimes they share maybe a little bit too much information. But I had it was probably a year into it in my Bowling Green store, my first store. I was making the drink, and another girl she was cashier, and this lady was down at the end of the counter, and I said, how you doing today? And she started to cry, said her daughter had just died. And my barista, she started crying. She went in the back room, and I started crying. It was just very emotional. And I went around and hugged her, and it was on a Monday. And then she came in Tuesday, and I said, how you doing? She was up for the visitation and the funeral, and then she was going to go back home. And by Friday, she said that the funeral was that day. And she goes, I want to tell you, she goes, as bad as it sounds, she goes, this has been the only highlight of my week coming in here. And I like, wow, that's what we do. As terrible as her life was at that moment, I can honestly say that she left the store in a better mood than when she came in. So, no matter what, that's what we strive to accomplish. And I think that's why we're growing as fast as we're growing, and why we have a very good rating, good following.
Love it, man. What a cool story. Are you like, do you have a lot of franchise or potential franchisees that you talk to, or like, what would you say to somebody that's interested in, exploring the opportunity with Biggby?
Yeah, I do have, and I certainly wouldn't. There's probably people that are on this list as well, but it's not rare for prospective Biggby coffee owners to reach out and somehow get my number. A lot of it is they go through corporate and they're like, listen, why don't you talk to Gary? So, I've had somebody from New York call me once and say, listen, I was told to give you a call. What do you think? And I tell them, listen, I tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly, because this isn't perfect. Nothing is, as well as I do. It's not perfect in your world. It wasn't just, when was it, 2 years ago or a year ago? A year ago.
One. Yep.
Yeah. 1 year ago. So, that you never know. So it's, but it's not a money printing operation whatsoever. I need to emphasize that right off the bat to them, is like, this is not, really lucrative, but you have independence and those things that I told you that, I take most pride in, and it's most satisfying is watching these kids grow. That's invaluable to me. So, follow the plan. I have to tell them, just like I was told to me, you may want to think you're better at it. You can do something a little bit different, but ultimately you come back and what works is what they have in place. But I think above all of it is you have to be passionate about what you're selling and what you're doing, whether it is management or whether it is selling the product. Earlier you said you went on the website and it's about giving. We're very well known in our hometown in Bowling Green, just because we don't say no. When somebody says, hey, listen, we've got this fundraising event, would you donate coffee? We got this 5K run. We have this, that, or the other. And, it's costly sometimes, certainly, especially and we have a Kiwanis pancake breakfast, which is like a service organization. And it's, oh my gosh, I don't know how many 10,000 ounces of coffee we donate. It's a lot. And it's like like 6 hours of nonstop brewing coffee and shuttling to and from the school. But what it does is it shows our commitment to the community, commitment to helping others, because this service organization, that's what they do. But also on a selfish side, I'm getting like 10 ounces at a time of product into their hands. And that's valuable. That's so valuable, because that itself, I mean, that's what it's about. I can tell anybody all day long. I can tell you, Will, how great the butterberry is. You may find that it's too sweet for you. It probably is too sweet for you, but I want you to experience it. And if I can get the product in their hands, I think that's all I can ask. So be passionate about the product, in that, like, if I'm at the register and somebody says, I'd like a turkey Havarti bagel sandwich, which is like a deli sandwich. I'll say, how about bacon on that? And I had one guy not too long ago says, hey, nice upsell. And I was like, yeah, I guess it is an upsell, but let me tell you something. This turkey, or it was a turkey cheddar, this turkey cheddar with bacon on it, I said, you'll thank me tomorrow. And it's all right, add it on. And next day he comes in, he's like, oh my God, dude, that was the bomb. It's one of those things where it's just, I upsold as a byproduct of my love for the product itself. So, that's something that, whether it's Biggby coffee or really anything, you got to be passionate about what you're doing.
Amen. Totally agree with that. Absolutely. Absolutely. What a cool transition you've made, man. And dude, we're proud to serve you. I mean, thank you for the business. We appreciate the opportunity to serve y'all. And you've been a customer for a while, and I'm glad it's working out well for you.
Yeah, I'd say got to be over 8 years. Has to be, because I didn't have a scheduling program when I opened the store up. Maybe I had an Excel spreadsheet thing that Biggby Corporate had, but it was terrible. And I'm not sure how I got, somebody named Jane Durham. She used to own, now I sort of cheated a little bit when it comes to my 3 stores in 10 years. First store on my own in my hometown. And then the second store I got through acquisition. It was called Maumee, Ohio. It's only about 20 miles away, but she had opened this Maumee store, which is actually where I'm at right now. She had opened it 6 months before I opened my Bowling Green store. She's the one. So, she gets the referral for getting me hooked up with Schedulefly. But I bought the store from her. And then, of course, that within the last May, I opened up my 3rd store in Perrysburg, Ohio. So, and we love it. Schedulefly is just great. I'm sure you've heard this before from other customers of yours, but Schedulefly is such a great app, or a great program, that it makes it very convenient for people to request off, and it makes it challenging for the manager or myself to schedule, because people really take advantage of it. But I'd rather have it that way. We try not to deny anybody's request off, but obviously it's a first come first serve basis. So we make it work, but it's a great program. So my hat's off to you for not only what you guys have done, but also, surviving what you survived a year ago. Cause that was, I can't imagine what you guys went through, but I know it was tough on us. So,
oh man. Yeah. Well, January 1st, New Year's Day, Saturday, 6:30 a.m. We were locked out of our database by a group of cyber criminals. And yes, I mean, it took us, we went back up live on January 11th, I believe, or the 12th. So from, January 1st till the 11th or 12th, we were down. Took us about 2/3 of that time to get the decryption key. Like, we had to pay a ransomware and all that. And then we had to pay a Bitcoin payment. And then we had to spend several days. Those guys were just working their tails off, getting everything back up. And then, you can imagine, like, flipping the switch back on and going live was like the most just terrifying thing in some ways, exhilarating, but terrifying, because then you're wondering, like, crap, is this thing going to, like, are they going to do it again? Or, it's just, but that sucked, man. That sucked bad. But part of business sometimes, unfortunately. They had we just got unlucky, but we are very thankful for customers like you and the overwhelming majority of our customers that figured out a way to get through it and stuck with us. We're a small business, and it meant so much, the loyalty that we had. So we're truly, truly grateful for that. And the good news is we're like bank level security now. And we've been through penetration tests and done everything we can trying to get, they go in and try to hack in now. And we've got every level of security that money can buy now, and we'll continue to do that. We probably overinvest at this point, which is totally fine, because can't ever let that happen again. That was rough. So I know, and we felt so bad for all of y'all having to figure out okay, wait a minute, New Year's Day, we don't have a sketch, what do we do? But everybody rallied around us, and we really appreciate that more than I don't even think we could ever possibly express.
Well, we learned from it too. I mean, we have systems in place now that if that ever happens for whatever reason, hopefully not that happened, but people, my staff took it for granted. So when schedules would get sent out in email or text, they would delete them. They just knew when they were working and they deleted. So, when that happened, we kind of gathered the troops and said, okay, send me your schedules, what you're supposed to work. And the majority of them were like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? We don't know. Like, oh my gosh, you don't have your. So now it's kind of it's a requirement. They have to do it. It's on. So, made us stronger too, in a very small sense, but, glad it only took 11 days. That was a long 11 days. I guess I got back online February 11th, because it did seem like it took 7 weeks, but, in truth, it was only like 11 days, but, it's, hey, the pandemic, what we had to go through was shutting our lobbies down, and, it was brutal on us. And boy, one of for almost 9 years, that was probably the worst stretch when it was miserable. And I always try to put on a happy face, but when one person got COVID, if they worked with 4 other people, all 5 had to be quarantined for 5, 7, or 10 days, and then we didn't have any staff, and we'd have to close down. It was just so I'm glad we're past that. And there'll be something around the corner. There always is, Will.
Y'all had a lot of customers that went out of their way. I mean, y'all and all of our customers, so many people in hospitality had customers that went out of their way during the pandemic to be patient and support y'all and help you get through it. And we felt like, that's what everybody did for us. So it was really meaningful. And we appreciated it. Well, look, man, I'll let you go. I appreciate this. I tell you what, let's spread the word around Biggby. We'd love to serve more. We'll hook you up with some. We can get some other Biggby stores in here, man. You guys can have it on the house at in your shops, as far as I'm concerned.
I actually just got one. She opened up. I'm going to guess she opened up a month ago. Crystal Thompson in Napoleon, Ohio. I don't know if that but that's her first store, but she's a Bowling Green native, and from the beginning she visited my store, and it grew inside of her, and finally she took the plunge and she opened up her store. Like I said, it opened up a month ago, and prior to that she spent a good 3 months training in my stores to get ready, and she actually just, when I came into this Maumee store, my manager said, Crystal called, said she had some questions about Schedulefly, and then she texted back and said that she got it figured out. So, there was another one. So yeah, I think anybody locally, the problem is, I had no idea that my aunt lives in Clearwater. I didn't know there was going to be a store open up in Clearwater, but I definitely passed the word, not only through Biggby Coffee, but anybody else that's opening up businesses. Right next door, you've got a hair removal place, laser hair removal, brand new. I don't even know what that is, but I mean, other than the title, but I said, hey, listen, if you guys looking for a scheduling program, check Schedulefly out. So yeah, I definitely, because I know the value of it, to maneuver.
Thank you. Well, I'll call. You said her name's Crystal?
Crystal Thompson, correct.
Yep, I'll call her when we get off here and introduce myself. That's awesome.
Bowling, Ohio.
Well, Gary, thank you very much for the time. Thank you for the opportunity. I know you are not a podcast guy, but dude, wow, this was a great episode, man. I really appreciate it.
Like I told you, that's I've embarrassed myself before, and I bored people to death, not to death, but I bored people before. But You can tell. I mean, at this for almost 9 years, and I'm just as passionate I was from the beginning, and I that's great. I feel like I'm retired, and I'm not going to speak for you, but I feel like you're kind of in the same boat. You can do this. You just said you work out of your house. You can do this as long as you're physically and mentally capable of doing it. This is your life forever. I have a 5. I'm out. No, I'm hoping I'm 85 and I'm still going to stores every single day, and people are amazed by it. But it's a fun life. Enjoying most every minute. Like I said, COVID was challenging. I'm glad that that we got our help, through the CARES Act. That certainly helped a lot of people. And I think you and I talked about the latest with the ERC, and it's definitely helped us through the tough times. But I just hope the pandemic is behind us, and we're smarter, because when I mentioned about having to close the stores down, that was brutal. Yeah. But the next time somebody got sick, it wasn't as big of an issue. I didn't take it to heart. I didn't get so nervous. And now when somebody gets sick, I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna have to function with 3 people instead of 5. We can do it. Just let the customers know. So once again, you get a little smarter every time you cross the next hurdle. So I appreciate your time, and let me promote not so much my Biggby Light, but just Biggby in general. And you got to let me know what you think when you visit. Like I said, Biggby Best is your go-to coffee brew, and get a turkey Havarti everything Bragel. You'll love it.
Done, man. I will do it. I will keep an eye on when that opens. It says coming soon on the website right now. So when it opens, I'll go and I'll report back. And you have done a great job of articulating, what Biggby is all about, man. And your passion and your energy for the brand is contagious. And that is such a big part of any successful business, is just the energy that comes from the people that run it. So I get why you are doing well, and why you enjoy it, and why you could do it forever, man. It's a wonderful thing to see.
You got to be involved. Unfortunately, once again, it's not all peaches and cream. Like I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And some of the ugly is when you hear feedback about other stores, and it's a reputation hit, but it also stabs the heart. Like, oh, that just gives Biggby Coffee a black eye. And a lot of it just boils down to the presence of the owner. Yeah, just knowing that they care, and that just goes. I've always said this too. In my corporate world, every year there was always I don't want to say cost of living, but they would always come to me, and they would go to everybody in the plant and the office and say, hey, listen, let you know you're getting a let's say 5% raise. Great, hey, thank you so much. And I appreciate every single raise I got. I feel like I earned it, but I also sometimes it was more rewarding when my boss would come up, knock on my door, and say, hey, Gary, nice job with that project. Excellent job negotiating that contract. That'll help us, really appreciate it. And he leaves, and I'm sticking my chest out like, yes, he appreciated me. And I think that's what I try to show my employees, that I appreciate them. I mean, it's a fast paced environment sometimes, and I'm out of my comfort zone when I'm making drinks in a rush, but I got to do it. That's something else I do, is I'll jump on the line and start banging elbows with my baristas, pulling shots of espresso, and it's fun. But I can understand it's a stressful job too, especially if you got customers that are stressed, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I can tell you love what you do, man. That's the most important thing, and it comes across really well. So congrats on making the move. Congrats on the business. Thank you for the business, and thanks for doing this, man. I'll get this episode up in the next few days, and I'll shoot you the link, man, and I'll call Crystal and introduce myself. I appreciate that referral.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Will. Always great talking to you.
See ya.
All right, see ya.
Bye.